Whew. Struggle with kids is real. Let me, I don't even know where to spam. Let's start with KFA. Chat. Guess I will still try to find out where I can put this. I'm almost not in the mood to even try to find places to put this, but I should. So I will. I'll persevere. I will do it. I'll do the thing. Tonight almost didn't happen because my youngest daughter decided she wanted to not go to sleep, which is always fun. When you have kids that don't want to go to sleep, it's fun. It's fun. But I should put this someplace so maybe people will come see my build. If not, that's fine too. It's not good content. It's not entertaining. I'm just building a keyboard. It's something I actually really wanted to build for a while. But yeah, life just gets busy some days, you know? And when life gets busy, you just do stuff. Like work. For an absurd amount of time. Yeah, it's probably not good for me. So, I'm building a keyboard tonight. That's my form of therapy. Building keyboards. It's a good hobby, I swear. What's that metal thing next to my macro pad? This is a Zeal switch opener. Looks pretty neat. It's, yeah. Zeal PC. If you ever know about the switches, they make a switch opener. Quite excellent. A little bit pricey, but it's interesting. And the other thing is an Ishtar card from Tomo. I don't have one of those, but you know, it's cool. It is a super fancy opener. It's definitely extra, but I actually kind of like it. It's easy to use and it's sort of weighty feeling, if you know what I mean. It feels right when I'm using it. Where can I always forget where I can advertise and where I cannot. I think I'd skip the middle section here. I don't think anyone has advertising for the middle section of my Discords. Hello. Chaos Blaze Kaze. I know you're very hyped to hear about this board, so hopefully it's good. You come for the Tomo. I have the Tomo. It's sitting here. It's been sitting here in my basement for a few too many weeks. Let me just figure out Space Cables. Yeah, Space Cables has social media promo. Paste that in there. Not like anyone wants to see my ugly face. Then the next one that has self promo is like Keep Life, right? Yeah, Keep Life has something. I can promote myself there. Keyboard Treehouse, because I think people are awake in that country. I probably should be sleeping here, but that's fine. Again, as I stated before, this is my hobby. This is what I do for fun. When I'm stressed out from work, I would like to build keyboards some days. Speaking of sleeping through life, I definitely slept through the recent Mono K TGR collaboration for the first 200 of the Jane boards. The Jane V2 ME, I guess it's Mono K edition. I definitely slept through that. Feels bad. I'm East Coast. I basically make sure everyone's asleep and then I go down to the basement and stream usually. So it is what it is. It's about on par with how I live the rest of my life, kind of chaotic. Usually everything else is pretty organized and stuff, and this is like the only time I do stuff. Blue and everyone took an L on it anyways. Yeah, I mean, so eventually there's going to be more boards, which will be cool. I mean, my understanding is it's going to be small batches that are just going to continuously roll. So eventually, hopefully people will get a chance. I have faith that, you know, eventually enough people will get the board that hopefully it won't be quite so crazy. But, you know, that's part of having a nice board sometimes is just having that thing that's almost unobtainium, you know? Almost done. I think Gray Studios have self-promo. I don't remember who does or doesn't have self-promo. Hope everyone gets a Jane. I actually don't hope everyone gets a Jane. I hope some people get a Jane so people stop just putting it on that pedestal, you know? I think it's a good keyboard. I think a lot of people will actually legitimately like it, but you know, it's one of those things that I don't believe it's a to die for board, but anyways. Alright, let me check and see if this bot's still working. It is. Alright, so I'm going to build my Tomo tonight. It's right here. And I'm going to be building it with what I'm going to call oil cherry pie switches. So this is Gateron oil bottoms, cherry tops, NK cream stems. So quite a lot of money, which I think everyone get it anyways. So a lot of boards, like if you're talking about boards that people really are looking after, it's right in the price range for that anyways. So yeah, boards cost a lot. Yes, some boards cost more than others, but I don't know. It is what it is. Anyways, enough of that. Let me put my W1AT away. Haven't even taken it off my desk since I built the thing. It's so big. The next board I'm going to build after this is pretty big too. It's yeah, so after I build Tomo, next week or a week after that or sometime, I forget where I put it in my basement, but it's somewhere down here. Gonna be building my Sandglass Ergo. It's gonna be pretty cool. Put some Instagram photos up. I just basically did some lazy photos of with my iPhone. Yep. But so TGR Tomo comes in this nice box. If I had to do it again, I probably would have got it in the Kaban. Being perfectly honest, I like my Kabans a whole lot, but I usually like this unboxing experience, and this one is actually pretty nice. Like this box just sort of lifts up. It's nice and smooth, it feels good. Just gonna stack things on top of things. And I'll go through the stuff I get in this real quick. So this comes with foam. Probably not gonna use any of that. Comes standard. I got a hot swap for this one. I'm not gonna use that one though. Going to use this. A soldered board, which I sort of prepped some stabs on already. And Tomo comes with a whole bunch of stuff. So you get like feet, a little badge thing for TGR. Get the little card. What else do you get in here? Daughter board, 58 O-ring. I got a bunch of different O-rings, so I have a bunch of different O-rings for another TKL. What else do we got in here? Oh yeah, I got the brass color For the emblems, I'm probably going to do brass, actually, now I think about it. Let's pull this out now. I got Suave Blue. Because I already have the Royal Purple on my Monocache key, which I really enjoy. So I just wanted something slightly different. So I went with purple. I guess I'm going to need this stuff. I have a daughter board over here already. I don't think I need this one. Does this one have screws? This one doesn't have screws. Alright, so I'm going to need these screws. Oh, don't knock everything over. That'd be sad. And I have feet. Alright. Put the box there. Let's take another look at this. So it comes standard with the PC plate. Originally I thought I would use that, but then I had other plans, and of course I just had also just gotten this aluminum plate, which is what I'm actually going to be using for this build. So looking at the Suave Blue, it definitely looks nice in person. This is the same color as I have my KFE CE. Very nice. Some of the screws have already, one screw actually came off when I was looking at it. And that's fine, I have it sitting to the side there. This one looks like it's so loose it might just pop out. Let me finger tighten it a little bit. Side profile is very nice from the side. And of course we have the weight. Ooh, a little harsh. Let me angle it like this. Cut down on the glare a little bit back into the camera. We have the nice Tomo, TGR, and Monocache. I decided to get this rather than SSE because whenever I see TGR, it's always with just sort of the sandblasted matte finish rather than shiny. That always screams TGR more than just shiny, but the shiny boards, the SSE definitely looks nice. So a little bit of a struggle there to pick between those two, but this is what I settled on. So first and foremost, let me put the feet on. Preserve this little bottom. And then we'll continue on. So I did test the PCB, so I'm tempted not to do that again. But I probably should just to be thorough. It's been like 3 weeks since I tested the PCB. It's just been sitting there. That's so sad. I had everything prepped and ready to go too. Anyways. Cost a lot more. Yeah, it was like what, $150 more or something like that. It costs a little bit more, that's for sure. But you know, it had a stainless steel mirror finish bottom, which was definitely unique looking, and it only really came in silver. So the real crazy people bought like a Suave Blue and an SSE, so they just swapped the bottoms out. I'm not that crazy. And again, like whenever I think TGR boards, I always think, rather than a shiny bottom, I always think this bead blasted bottom finish. Swap it out and sold the silver one. I don't know. I think if you're willing to spend that much money up front just to get a certain unique look, you probably just absorb the cost and just collect it. But again, that's like real crazy person territory. Sounds like something I might actually try to do in the future. Anyways, let's not go too far with the personal attacks. Thank you very much. What size are these? These are medium size hex. I actually don't know what size these are. Is this the right size? Looks like it. Alright, let me take it apart real quick. True, a perp SE? That'd be crazy looking. A perp SE with the shiny silver bottom would look pretty crazy. Honestly, it's one of those things that if you did do that, it would be a pretty unique keyboard. Even though, and part of the reason why I think Tomo is so popular and still sort of is a thing is because it was an open buy. You know, just it went up to whatever the human limit was, and I don't even think they hit that. So there's plenty of units floating out there. There's still extras on Monoke's website, so definitely if you're interested, yeah, guess listen to this board tonight, see what it sounds like for me, and then consider if you want to buy one yourself. But after listening to Boteha's build, even though people were molding at that first one, I thought it still sounded alright. And people were very happy with the second one, or happier I should say with the second one. And after Mr. Lightning Diego's build, yeah. Hypno, possible to trade my MGA build for that frog build. I'll be honest, I'm looking for like a polycarbonate maybe. Like I was looking at a 40, a mono actually. I don't know. Not your build. Oh. I don't know. Someone might, if someone's really looking for that sort of build, they might. It's always something you have to ask people and see what they're willing to do. Alright, be careful. Lift this up straight. Okay, is it all the same hardware size? Do people like trade builds? So, if you're going to trade builds, I would go through an intermediary. If you're going to be using like Mech Market, it's a lot safer to do that. It's not unheard of for some high-end builds and even some other ones, so I mean, you know, just be cautious and protect yourself. Go slow with that stuff. But yeah, I've heard people of swapping builds before. It's not the most common thing. Usually it's like people trading build plus money for, you know, a keyboard. For a while, people were using 7Vs for a while as like partial currency, I guess, for trades. What's a realistic cost for a Frog TKL build? I believe mine was around 500. So yeah, 500 after like shipping, PCB, stabs, and stuff like that. Can try, I have no idea if I had money or not. Remember, it's really up to like what you feel like you should be paying for it. A bowl of toast is now following. Thank you for the follow, bowl of toast. How are you tonight? Yeah, it's really hard to say because, you know, it gets all speculative with what you value something at and what you really want and what the other person wants too. So, here from Owl Labs. Hey, welcome. How's it going? Alright, PC plate. Let me put that to the side. And this is what I wanted to get at up here to change out this. What is this, medium? No, small. For whatever reason I had in mind, because it has like the gold bottom, why don't I put a gold Monoke symbol up here? Alright, so we have that. Alright. Yeah, I definitely wanted to stream this build earlier, but life just got in the way at work, and I was spending extra time and hours trying to get stuff done. Have most of it done, so... this goes in the bottom, this goes in the top, so like this, I believe. Yeah, like that. Okay. Then carefully with these little screws. Oh, it's not actually magnetized. Boo. Okay. I guess I will take the weight off, just to take the weight off to say I did it once. So I guess we will spend a little bit more time on this build tonight, and I guess I'll just have to suck it up tomorrow. Eventually I'm going to get back on to doing sound tests too. I've definitely slacked off from doing that recently. It's okay though. What size is this? Is it all the same size? It is. Whew, okay, this is something I do like. The fact that all of the hardware is the same size is definitely a plus. One, two, three. Oh, I gotta lift it up while unscrewing it. Okay. That side came out. And this side came out. Okay. So here's this back piece. This is just a simple piece of aluminum. Looks pretty nice on both sides. And I guess I'll just hold these screws in here real quick. We have the Tomo weight here. I'm not actually going to take that out. It's in there nice and tight, so I'm just going to button it back up. Just wanted to take it apart just to see. Oh, maybe I actually have to take these screws out real quick. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense if I fit it like this, huh? Running out of space on my desk. Common problem for me. I really need to get rid of some of the boards I just have around me that I no longer really use, just so I can have more space to store stuff. Get in there, so I don't have to worry about organizing you later because you're already organized. All right. Okay, well, we'll start the build soon. So again, I'm calling these, I guess, oil cherry pies. Hey, Blue Causes, how's it going? Nice of you to make it. How is it going? I don't know. After my younger daughter almost didn't want to fall asleep, I was like, am I doomed just to never build this? But fortunately, I guess I found some time to do it. So I'm just going to do it. I'll probably only do top mount and 58 O-ring, but I have, I guess I'll show them off in a second here. I do have a bunch of O-rings sitting around my basement. So I have a bunch of O-rings sitting around my basement from other builds. So these are the TKL. I think these are the ones for this board. So I'll have to try stuff out. Stop being lazy and sell my board and buy parts of the frog and screw it. New board. Yeah. Tedious looping as such. There's some good switches out there you can get now that you don't need to do too much to, if I'm being perfectly honest. But for me, I mean, not to say it's part of the fun, but it's part of the experience. Alright, where am I going to put you so I don't do anything bad to you? Actually, I'll just move you over here. Put that on there. I can put this over here. Excellent. Alright, so I need the daughter boards. I'll need the O-ring. Put that right there. The plates on the bag, I'll carefully set that down. And let's take a look at this PCB, which is soldered. Wait, there's a daughter board in here? There's a bag for a daughter board in here. Where's the daughter board? Wait. The daughter board's still attached. Why do I have so many daughter boards? Just do 20 a day. It's easier that way, and before you know it, you're through the whole set. Yeah, that's a good idea. Moderation, something that I clearly don't know anything about. I tend to just watch a whole Trash Taste episode or podcast of some sort and just try to get all my switches done all at once. Probably not the best thing to do, but it's served me alright so far. Alright, so screws for the daughter board. Let me put that over there so I don't lose them. And let's test this PCB, just because it's been like a little bit since I tried it. Let's go Trash Taste. Yeah, Trash Taste is just a good podcast. Does it come with stabs, or I had to install these, and these are cherry clip-ins. Originally when I bought this build, TX stabs like were not a thing, so you can see here I toothpick modded them, my cherry clip-ins, so we're good to go. Rock'em sock'em robots, you know? This is the old way of doing things, I guess. Veneer 710, how's it going? Tomo, was that long ago? Yeah, it was like a year ago. Yeah, it was like, what, June? I want to say it was like June last year. June, July, somewhere in that time frame. Anyways, I need to... What, via interface? There we go. Hey, Vitner710, thank you for the follow. Alright, so I have this set up. Doesn't come with stabs, so I might order some. Yeah. Actually, I don't even know if it came with stabs, but I definitely already set aside these, so. And since I'm using long pull switches, because I'll be honest with you, I love TX stabs, but sometimes long pull switches do not agree with them, so. Yeah, this is why I'm doing this. Might sell my boards without the caps. I actually really like the keycaps I have. Rather not spend $200 on some GMKs. Honestly, so if you sell like everything all at once, I mean, it's one of those things, but long pulls on TX are kind of oof. Yeah, most of my space bars are black cherry pies, and it's weird because you can get it sounding just right, but it takes a lot of playing with it, if I'm being honest with you. So I have caps lock as my momentary button, and then I have on layer 1 error keys, and I still have error keys down here, but you know, I'll be honest, I will probably just use WSD as error keys. Any recommendations for an ergo board? Been looking at Alab Chalice, but I don't know if I'm ready for 40%. Yeah, 40% are kind of weird for ergo boards, especially if you don't use ergo boards regularly. Let's think here. There's a few, like the Ryu that's coming out from Geonworks. That's probably going to be a little bit more first-time user-friendly for ergo. It's still going to be a little bit higher price point. Ergo boards aren't all that common, so you'll see like Alice and Arisu at slightly higher price points. I guess the cheapest one that you could go would be... Well, yeah, there's a few cheap ones that you could go, but I don't know. If you're looking for a decent one, the Ryu Ergo might be a good one. Maja, Yeti, yeah, in stock on KBD's fans. A Fancy Alice, dirt cheap. NGA Standard. Yeah, NGA Standard. You could buy it for Hypnos. Alright, quick test of the PCB. Beep, 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 beep. It's a Yankar PCB, so it should be pretty good. Tenacity, thank you for the follow. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully I don't bore everyone to death with this build, but yeah. Okay. The only thing I did notice with this that I probably will need something for is this switch right here. I guess it's supposed to be south facing, so I guess that's a compatibility weirdness thing. Wait, that's enter. Why is that enter? But anyways, I'll probably have to like do something later with jumpering this. I just don't have my wrapping wire over here. I don't know if that's on all the PCBs or just mine or what the case is, but go away. Start menu. No one wants to see you. Stream voice, by the way? Yeah, I don't know. I just talk, man. Thank you, though. I definitely have the face for radio. At some point in the future, I'll actually want to try to make some content for YouTube. I think I'm just going to lowball it and just go with the easiest thing of keyboard opinions, but yeah. Acrylic CNC, not alu. Yeah, there's some, I think Switch Couture still does some decent Alice boards that are on the friendlier side for the price, but decent. I don't know, there's a few good brands out there that have decent deals that I would probably still pick up if I was looking for one. But in a few days I'll be, well, hopefully next week I'll try to find time to build my Sandglass Ergo from Fox Lab. Javered YouTuber. I just do crap sound tests at the moment. I don't even make good content. Yeah. Honestly, I just don't have the time. And if I had the time, I'm pretty sure any content I make would still be crap. But that's beside the point. Where was I going with this? I forget already. Anyways, let me unplug this daughter board, put it to the side, and let's get the soldering pad out. Gotta start somewhere. I'm already doing enough though. This is just a hobby. If I wasn't all old and stuff, I probably would do more. But I'm old. Alright. Let's open up this plate and take a better look at it. Should be a standard aluminum plate. And it is. Excellent. So, I guess I'll keep jumping back and forth here real quick. So pipe key here. As you can see, because of the compatibility and layout, it doesn't have a trace right here for what I'm going to call a crucial part of it. So I'll probably have to add a jumper wire just to go between these two points. I might be able to get the back of it. It's probably not going to be a stable connection if I do that. So I'll probably still want to do some wrapping wire and jumper it. But anyways, plate goes on and switches. So these are long pull switches. Not sure if you can, I know you won't be able to read it over the internet, but trust me, this says Gatoron. These are Gatoron oils bottom housings. cherry top, and NK cream stems. Sorry if I just bumped the mic there. But yeah, this was an idea I had as soon as I thought about oil switches, and I bought more of them and then just realized that they're kind of boring on their own, if I'm being perfectly honest. So why not use them as sorta BCPs? But instead I'll call them oil cherry pies because I'm using them differently. I don't really know. It sounded better in my head when I first came up with it, I'll be honest with you. Alright, so no switch goes in this corner because it has a blocker. So make sure I don't put anything in there. That'd be a dumb move. Something I totally would do though. Alright, 4 corners. So one thing I have to say that I am appreciative of is this board is just a straight up board. There's no like meme cuts, no flex cuts, no reliefs. Just simple. Kind of like it, if I'm being honest with you. So many boards nowadays have all the meme cuts in them, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. So using that simple top O-ring is best. Yeah. I'm probably gonna like this top mounted better with these long pull switches if I'm being perfectly honest, but I will try both tonight as long as I don't run out of time. But anyways, this is basically how I decided to use the rest of my Gateron oil switches. I mean, they don't sound bad. What build did I put them in? I put them in my Space 80. They don't sound bad, but they just weren't my favorite, so they're now Frankenswitch material, I guess. Just make it pretty and make it top/O-ring and I'm sold. Hey, that's pretty simple. So these Gateron housings with cream stems. Yeah, so it's Gateron oil, king bottom, cherry top, and NK cream stems. These are the old cream stems, so they work. I haven't tried it with new cream stems. I haven't bought the creams, so. Actually, I do. I have some launch blues, but makeshift BCPs. Somehow it's like more expensive BCPs, because I have a bunch of H1s too somewhere that, you know, I was using for a while. Anyways, issues, things, makeshift BCPs. Honestly, this feels smoother than the black cherry pies I made with H1s. So the bottom out sounds a little bit deeper, the top out sounds slightly higher. So overall it's pretty pleasing, I think, sound profile wise so far, but we'll hear how it sounds on the board. I'm dropping switches. Man, some night I actually just need to go to sleep, I think. Nah. Definitely not tonight. I definitely wanted to build this tonight. I'll be dead at work tomorrow, but that's fine. I've been working my ass off on workload and resource modeling and all sorts of stuff for next year's budget. I think I did enough work. I deserve another keyboard build. So hopefully everyone's doing well out there. Staying healthy. I know in my area some of the COVID cases kicked up a little bit, so you know. What's my career? I work in quality assurance. I do quality stuff. Well, I used to do quality stuff. Now I just like manage and supervise people's and things. So yeah, that's what I do. I actually find it kind of enjoyable, but I can see why some people would think it might be boring. But to each their own. It taught me a lot of different things, and before that I did some National Guard Army stuff, so. So would that be almost hospitality? No, like, so physical quality assurance, like measuring things, you know, making sure that the proper standard and drawings were used, things like that. No, it's me not specifying. Because I actually mentioned this when I first met some of my wife's family members. You know, I worked in quality, and they're like, oh, so you like do call center stuff. I'm like, no, not quite. Actually, I didn't even bother correcting them at all. I was just like, whatever. It's fine. Misunderstandings are fine. But yeah. But yeah, my first profession was doing army stuff, which was a lot of fun. Didn't want to do that all my life though, so moved on to quality assurance. Quality sure to see Tomo, so you decide if I should get it. Honestly, I have not had an issue with Monoke boards. Like, not to say that they have 100% hit rate, because I know they probably don't, but they're nice. This board, the anode is nice and smooth. It's not chalky at all. I haven't seen any streaking or mismatch in it. The fit and finish on the board is wonderful. Like, it's a good board. But, you know, for this sort of price for these boards, yeah, I'd expect nothing less, you know? So I want a Monoke TGR name on it. Yeah. Honestly, with TGR, I mean, it has that reputation around it. And honestly, that's probably one of the reasons why I jumped on this board first and foremost was for the TGR badge and name. So, is what it is. But honestly, the TGR name's good, but more and more I'm like looking at Monoke as being probably the thing that will help them deliver and do things more. Any of the meme badges? What do you mean by meme badges? What are these memes you're talking about? So I did buy the brass ones, but that's about it. The Bongo Cat badge? No, I did not. Honestly, if I bought the Bongo Cat badge, I probably would just stoop to putting Gregory on my keyboard instead of, like, you know, CRP Xerox or something like that. Bongo Cat badge. Man. I have Greg. Oh. Oh. I don't know what board I'm gonna save that Gregory for, but oh man, the color's gonna clash. It's Suave Blue, man. I don't know. If I did that, I would definitely have to take a picture of it. It's like Doge Sync, yeah. GMK Gregory. It's a weird set. If I put it on this board and I took a picture of it and I put it on the Makibo Discord, I'm sure I'd get a lot of likes and a lot of hate for it at the same time. Belongs on a red or black board, or white/black, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Full base. Yeah, it's actually a face. It's actually Gregory. That's why it's called GMK Gregory. And then I'll have to remember to put something in the space bar. Based off a Taobao desk mat. I don't know. I just like the concept of it. It's definitely lighthearted. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and you know, I think it's just fun. Anyways, so this board also marks a break in the Cherry MX Black usage that I've been going through. I think the next board that I will build might also, well, it's probably also going to be a Cherry MX Black, so. I think it'd be fun if the only GMK set you owned. Go for it. Meme it up. Why not? Make sure you stop by the Makibo Discord, though, and just put all the pictures. People love it there. Make sure you put GMK Gregory on whatever the most ridiculous expensive boards that you could buy, too. Tilts people. I need to drink some tea. Alright. This bottom row has so much Swiss cheese, I don't actually know which one it goes in. But luckily I have space bars spare for this. So it goes here. Excellent. Moment 60 drops on Saturday if you're going to get that one. I like JJW boards, and in fact, JWW. What am I saying it backwards for? Anyways, yeah. I'm also looking at the fact that Cloudline should be moving to fulfillment sometime soon in the next like month or two. Quite excited to receive my Cloudline. I think that's going to be a pretty cool looking board. It's going to be one of those boards that I'm going to take pictures of the internals more than I think anything else. Anyways. Just going to push a few of these down because it looks like a few of them haven't fully clipped in. If you're new to keyboards, most Cherry switches, if you look really closely, have the tab right above and below. When it clips into a plate, they'll actually like flare out and clip in. So that's one easy way to just visually look and make sure that everything's actually seated in your plate. Cloudline looks sick. I wonder if they're... So, yeah, that's the common question. Will there be extras to Cloudline? Yeah, there's going to be extras to Cloudline. I don't know how many, but I already have mine, so I'm good. So pretty much any high-end board will have extras, just because they will need extras, because some things will fail. So the question is, how many will they have? The tank, because yeah. Well, if they did it again, it would probably still be on the hype checkout on Canon keys. They probably would redo that. So I don't want to think about it, bro. Alright, crisp is going on, so if it sounds like I'm underwater, I apologize, but it's just so you don't hear this thing whine in the background. I guess before I do anything too drastic, I wanted to show this off too. This is a little Hibby tray that I got. Look, you're the tiger. Lunar New Year. So cute, so cute. All right. If they had other colors, you'd pick one up. I don't know. It's gold. It's cute. It's Chinese New Year, so it has to be gold because, you know, why not? All right, 350 it is. It's been like 2 weeks, so let's, I guess, tin the tip a little bit. Future Bound. Thank you for the follow. Alright, let me just do the soldering. I'm going to start by getting the corners in. I can make sure it's nice and flat so I don't have any issues later. Make sure I got this alignment right. Hold on a second. That definitely is not in the right place. Hello, hello. I reckon his name from somewhere. IU typing test. Yes, IU typing test indeed. I did one of those once. Yeah, I guess IU's should be finishing up sometime soon with Makibo. That'll be fun. Can't wait to see more of those builds because IU is such a pretty board. Missed out on IU? There should be some extras. Enough banger TKLs on the way? Nice. That's why I always try to remind everyone that people that feel that they're missing out on stuff, I mean, there's so many good boards nowadays. You can't really say you're missing too much. If you absolutely need something, you know, sure, treat yourself, but nothing is to die for, unless you're just trying to, you know, you gotta catch them all or something. Good luck to you if you're one of those people. Yeah, those sound interesting? Yeah, I don't know. It's just another take on Black Cherry Pie switches, right? Because I usually use those for space bars, so now I'm just like, yeah, let's try with Gateron Oil Kings in the bottom. Because honestly, I like Gateron Oil Kings, they just, honestly, are a little bit boring, so spice them up, use them with long pulls. Alright. This plate looks like it's dead flat. I don't think I'm gonna have any problem just soldering it straight. So, this should be pretty quick. What have I gotten in recently? I guess the Fox Lab board was the last one I got in. Apparently, the mini frog is on the way. I got a red wing keyless mini frog. Looking forward to building that some point, because I feel like I need more 60s in my daily rotation when I bring to work. Weekly rotation? It's not a daily rotation, it's a like, monthly rotation? I don't know. I really do need to clear out some of the extra boards that I have. So as mentioning earlier, I'll probably try to actually make some actual content, I guess, at some point. Give keyboard opinions of some sort. And then probably just get rid of boards that I will never actually use. We'll see what happens with that. I get busy, then I get lazy, and then I don't follow through on some plans to do stuff like content, but, you know, it is what it is. Maybe someday. Because definitely now, at the end of the fiscal year, I've been pretty busy at work. Otherwise, I would have built this like the week that I got it. Almost 3 weeks ago. Man, that feels bad. But we're building it now. We're all here together having fun. As long as I don't fall asleep and like faceplant on my soldering iron, we'll all be good. So soldering's pretty boring. So 60% doesn't have exactly, and what we call 60% with error keys. So 60% with error keys sounds like you really want a 65 if you really want error keys. 65s are pretty common boards. There's a lot of 65s coming out. Like the on Keeps for All, they have a fairly budget-friendly option, the xerox 65. That's been getting some hype recently. Depending on what PCB you get, you can actually put error keys on a 60 if you wanted to, but you know, that's a little bit irregular. Yeah, mad cursed. I try and be nice about it. xerox looks like a sick board for the price. Honestly, I think anyone that wants that sort of board with and likes foam and stuff, I think it would be pretty good for them. But yeah. And TKLs, what are they considered? TKLs are just considered 10 kilos. Starts at 100%, then goes down. Yeah, so 100% would be, you know, your 60% F-row, nav cluster, arrows, and then numpad. So like TKLs would be like 80%. Yeah. These guys got you. They know. Yeah, but if you just want arrow keys and like 60% stuff, 65, pretty popular. I still think one of my favorite, you know, and it's kind of budget too, would still be Block 67. I was actually blown away with how cheap that board was, yet how decent it still was. It's your Discord. Man, Blue causes, prying in people's backgrounds here. Future. Yeah, so one thing I am looking forward to is apparently in not so distant future, the Keeps for All TKL should be shipping out. I'm actually looking forward to getting my hands on that because I recently got keycaps for a build I'm planning on surprising a friend with. So it's keycap set is EPPT Acid House Sweet Girl. So hopefully they like this. Obviously, I didn't tell them I was going to do this for them, but I'm actually hoping that the build for Keeps for All TKL ends up pretty nice. And recently they did more stuff with their 75 too. Looks like Sahanki, the designer of it, Dingus X McGee or Dingus McGee on Discord, has announced that it's going to have a daughter board instead of just, you know, a PCB, which I think is going to be pretty good for a budget friendly. So right around the $200 mark, 75% keyboard. So a lot of people have been jokingly comparing the Tomo and that. Yeah, I could honestly see it being a decent pickup though. $75 full kit will only be what? You serious? $179? Huh? How are these people staying in business? Guys, we gotta have an intervention and tell Kensu that she can actually make money on products. She doesn't have to, like, it's not a charity. I don't know how they're doing that. Either the volumes that they're predicting have to be pretty insane or their margins have to be pretty thin. 100% certified, they just announced it. Wow, that's crazy, Blue. doing some weird things with keycaps right now. Yeah, I don't know. They had went through some drama. There's always some drama going on, but I don't know. I think whenever you're talking about weirdness with GMK keycaps, and especially if you're looking at who has what design and so forth, is just to look at intent as well. So I mean, Keeps for All did do a soft ban on clones, more or less. So if you mention clones on any of their sales stuff, they sort of get rid of you. So I don't think that's their intent, is to clone anything. But you know, definitely letting them know if something does happen to look a little too familiar, I think would help them out. But yeah, that's just my opinion. GMK doesn't own the IPs, they're just manufacturer. Designs belong to the designer. I agree with that. That is a true statement. And honestly, usually I will always side on the side of designers, especially since, you know, HK and some other scumbag companies and Glorious and people like that, every now and then we'll just sort of steal designs and stuff. So, yeah. Say for a company, history of banning clones. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably more there. I hate to when people say that there's two sides to it, because for a lot of things that are newsworthy, there aren't really two sides to it. But this one, I think it would bear out to try to see if there is a second side, because it doesn't sort of fit in line with the rest of their behavior so far as a company. That's just the feedback that I'll give. I mean, I don't really have that big of an opinion right now. I saw it pretty late in the evening, and then I just sort of blanked on it. You get to work with a designer like MK is doing at Taguchi? Yeah. Honestly, I'm sort of glad that, like, the NK PBT sets and PBT fans and other things like that are starting to take off. Because, you know, it's... I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with Milky Way. It seems like it's either high variance hit or miss sort of deal going on. I'm hoping they have more hits than misses, but so far I'm not that impressed. So, guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely a plus for them for seeking and working with the original designers to refresh it a little bit, to make it a little bit different than the GMK sets, but still have the character of what the people wanted from the keycap set. So, give the people what they want. And do it in a fair way. Because, you know, at the end of the day, though, it's going to be up to people voting with their wallets, whether people or companies like HK are successful. So, again, you know, understand everyone has different price point for keycaps and tolerance for pain for buying stuff, but if you can't afford it, I would highly recommend buying the original sets from people. It doesn't directly help the designer out, but, you know, every little bit does help. MW is some proving due for sure. Half-Blade is completely reverse die sub. Hopefully it doesn't just completely butcher it. Oh man. I don't know. I'll be honest, after looking at what happened with my Demon Girl, because that was scuffed. I'll be the first to be honest about that one. Kind of worried about them. I'm hoping that they get better processes, but time will tell with that. Can I bridge this with solder? It's going to be ugly. Nope. Pipe key. Well, it might be bridged. I don't know. But pipe key is something I'll probably have to add a jumper wire to later. Yeah, I regret buying it so much. I mean, so I would say I would regret buying it, but there's no way that I would have known, right? And I know a lot of people were worried about the Monoke Series 1 for the same reason. But I'll be honest, Monarch Series 1, they actually like took their time and didn't release it because it wasn't correct. So I'm actually going to use that on my Fox Lab Sandglass Ergo. I think that has the full compatibility that I need for that board. Weird arrows and all is what it is. Favorite TKL. In my current collection right now, it's probably going to have to be IU. So that's the Makibo purple keyboard. Also known as Perryworks IU. Original Navy set was also $30. Yeah. Again, I'm not really sure how KFA makes money. I think they're just a charity in disguise. To the point that they turned off Shopify not to lose money? Huh. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. When they announced Jairus and January and now, you know, they're 75, like I'm looking at the prices and like I would have easily thought January with maybe a little bit extra work and embellishment, like one more round of design, could have easily been like, you know, 350, 400-ish. So Jair's terribly stupid name. It is what it is, man. It's so stupid you will never forget it, though. January is such a good deal. Technically, still 320-ish, yeah. Honestly, though, not even mad because a polycarbonate 60 like that, I would have spent a lot more. I'm actually still looking forward to that board. So 60 PCBs laying around. Call Iris. Should have just named it something else. It is what it is. There's a handful of boards I am looking forward to. For 65s, I have to say the board I'm most looking forward to would be like another round of either Kohaku, because I just hear that is, you know, a god tier 65% board. Or if I'm lucky enough to make it into the group buy for, I guess, Irene. No, what do they call that? Original Visual. That's what it was. Bias and CW boards are what I'm looking forward to most. I missed out on 2 bias boards that I tried to join for raffles. CW board, I have my CW88 in wine. I was thinking about getting a 60 too, but we'll see. I've been busy enough that I really haven't checked up recently on CW's Discord to see what his news is, but hopefully he's doing it right in Hanoi, and hopefully the quality comes out nice on those boards. Actually, I did see something on Final Run, but yeah. Should be shipping out now? Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I hesitated in pulling the trigger on the LE because I wasn't sure if I wanted a black TKL. Basically because of the SEMA TKL I have is black, but you know, it is what it is. Probably should have went for it. Looks like a nice finish. cannot wait for Final Home. Yeah, Final Home's gonna probably be pretty cool. That's an ergo board if people wanted to try an ergo board and only want to do it once and right. Yeah, Final Home. Get crazy color on my board collection. I don't know why it's flagging that. Hold on, I'll allow that. Term permitted crazy colored. What? Apparently Twitch thinks it's a race thing. I don't even know. You're talking about keyboards. It's all good. Yeah, I don't know, man. Twitch whiling out. Relax, we're keyboards. It's fun. Everyone's accepted in keyboard land. Eventually, I do need to do a build for my wife, though. At work, she does like her Alps boards, so I probably need to find a clicky Alps board to build her at some point in time. Has to have a numpad, has to be like full size or 1800 layout, so I don't know. If I buy her anything too heavy, she won't like it. If I buy her anything too weird, she won't like it. And there's not too many cheaper boards that are Alps, so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, to find something just right for her eventually. Or maybe I'll just get a retro kit for her and put some Alps switches in it. Buy some old vintage blue Alps and then call it a day, I guess. I also thought about buying just a regular Alps board and then restoring it too, because at work she has a click foot, so if that's what she's used to, maybe I should just get her one of those. I don't know. Hard to say. All right, almost done. Come to think of it, I'm not even sure if she's using the board I built for her anymore. My wife at work. So I built her one, what was it, YMD 1800 style board. So like a cheap Chinese board. I used Shubes' Curse switches. The blue bombs. Man, that was so long ago. Hey, Anushiki, how's it going? 75 making a comeback. Yeah, let's go, man. How's it going, man? Alright, just taking a look at the solder joints real quick. Let me turn off noise suppression. Crisp die. Alright, I should sound back to normal. What mount am I going to use for this? She likes the sound of clickies? Yeah, my wife likes the sound of clickies. It's a war crime. It's whatever, though. Everyone has their own preference, and she has definitely entitled to her own preference. Let me reflow a few of these switches. Can't tell if it's my lighting, but I may have went a little bit light on some of this. Good, good. Just got home, chilling for now. Nice. You just get home and then you're back to working, man. Is that a thing now? No, it's something I just made up. I liked Gateron Oil's King switches just because they're smooth, but I thought they were kind of boring sounding, so I just sort of piled everything together and said, yeah, why not? Alright, rest of this looks like it's okay. Before I turn it off though, let me plug in the daughter board and let's test it real quick. Life of a Freelancer. Looking forward to hearing the sound. Me too. I've been looking forward to building this board for like 3 weeks since I had it, but haven't had that time. Alright. I did not get a Dallas. I'm low-key regretting not getting a Dallas. But it'll be okay. I got plenty of boards. Alright, let's turn VIA back on so whoever can see it. Let's see if I've done this alright. Ah, what happened? Why is that doing that? Stop. Let me know if you want one, because I have extras. Maybe. So, pipe key is the only thing that is not working again. Would be the way that the PCB is laid out. Just a little bit too much Swiss cheese. I'll hit it with some wrapping wire later to fix it. But it's pipe key, so we'll call it good enough for now. Curios? Yeah, I think it has a lot of different names for this specific combination. I just did it for whatever. Who cares about pipe? I care about pipe some days. But anyways, yeah. It's just because of all the Swiss cheese for the layout. Like, if you look at it real close right here, it's has a hole right here, I think, for ISO, and it's just missing that chunk. So it is what it is. Alright, let's do some quick cleanup on the board, and then I will get to mounting it. Turn that off. Move this. And grab a piece of paper towel. I don't know what reasonable quantities of GPL 107 is. Honestly, with like 106, 107, I tend to just go thicker and thicker to the point where I was basically mixing my own stuff that I will slather onto my springs. And it's just a thing. I don't hear any spring ping anymore, so I guess I'm doing the right thing. I don't really know. Ringer keys. Yeah, I bought stuff from them before. They're pretty good. Alright, quick board cleanup. The solder mask did a pretty good job of keeping things mostly where it should have been, so cleanup should be pretty easy. This board, by the way, was pretty good for solderability. We have the extended gap for Alps switches, so it's a little bit tall, but it's okay. No real issues with soldering. Always good to see. As always, I'm just using my little isopropyl alcohol container and PE foam applicator wipes, because that's what I'm used to seeing everyone use to clean up their own work, or other sort of acid-based brushes and stuff to get extra flux off. So this is just my easy way of getting stuff off. So first I think I'll do gummy O-ring and then I'll go top, because I suspect I'll probably like the board better in top mount. You can see the top's turning colors because it's pulling up a little bit of the rosin flux that's left on the board. Not too much left this time around. I went pretty light and sparingly with the solder, just to go a little bit quick. It's only 75% board, so. Yeah, speaking of other Alice style boards though, I mean, Alice TKL boards. So if I'm reading correctly on Mount Kivris Discord, looks like Aster Ergo should be finishing up sometime soon. I did pick up one of their premiums, so that should be a pretty cool board to build and look at. I think it's going to be a really pretty board to look at, because I got mine with the machined stripy top, which is something that I didn't even think of as an option until I saw it, and I'm like, yes, please. So, looking forward to building that board. Then I also have this Aster, or sorry, not Aster Ergo, I just talked about that one. Sandglass Ergo in my basement already. It's probably what I'm going to build next. That'll be a weird board to bring into work and have people have no clue how to use that board. That's fine. No one sits at my desk besides me. And usually people just like look at keyboards on my desk and have no clue what these things are about, so it's good times. Best is, you know, if I ever have to go into a meeting and type up notes somewhere, people are always just looking at whatever board I happen to bring into the conference rooms. Always a fun time. Alright, enough for cleanup for now. I'm sure I'll do some more later. And let's move stuff out of the way and start assembly. I guess I can bring this back. Little Lunar New Year tray from Hibby. That thing's super cute, actually. Okay. Carefully move this back. Alright, so I have screws here for daughter board. I have a 58 O-ring. And let's lift this up very carefully. Okay. Okay, unified C3 daughter board. And I'm guessing this still uses... Oh, this is only different size hardware. Alright. Which driver is this? There we go, we found it. Get some 1072, 205. Springs get expensive. Yes, they do. Oh, it's not magnetized. No. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Been bagging lube, then double dipping. Tuesday springs usually use 205 grade 0. Yeah, I've actually mixed 205 grade 2 and 107 to get a slightly looser mix, and then I usually end up brush lubing the coils. And that seems to work pretty well for me. With 2 screws in here, yep, that's good alignment. Look at that. Nice. Does KFA have 107 now? I do not know. I haven't bought lube from anyone in quite a while. I tend to buy a crap ton of it and then use it all over a very long period of time. You know, there's still people using 105. It's probably thick enough, but I do agree that for double and triple stage springs, I seem to like to mix some 205 in just to make it thicker. I'm not sure if it's really needed or if it's just all in my head or anything, but yeah. It's probably just a me problem. Alright, and this cable will fit in the JST. It will sort of meet there. And I'm glad this isn't too long of a run. Because sometimes cables that are too long of a run, you have to like do weird things like tape them down and stuff. But this will work. So this is a 58 O-ring. I have some extra O-rings over there. I'll have to try out later. But let's mount this for now. So we're going to try the 58 O-ring that comes with it first, and then I'll probably do top mount. And I'll probably end up taking this to work as a top mount board, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Lucky enough to get these 24.5 single stage springs. What? Those are so big. Oh, no wonder. I'm trying to pin it upside down. Build. Yeah, it works. Alright. Make sure the cable goes in the channel. There we go. Alright. Stupidly long snappy springs from Poverty Keys. Very little ramp, they start moving, they build up force. 53 gram at bottom mount. That sounds like a decent spring. Still sounds decent. Alright. Have to put a little bit of compression on. Actually, is this sitting right? Hold on 1 second here. Try a little bit of tucking. Should be good. All right. Now it's sitting nice. So as usual, I'm going just a cross pattern, barely tight for the first round, and then I'll tighten it down a little bit more for the second go around. Once everything's in there, and just snug it up a little bit. Then I'll have to pull up, hopefully the website's still open, the image is still there, for CRP Xerox, which is what I'm going to put on this board tonight. Unless everyone demands Gregory, and then I'll put Gregory on, and I'm sure that'll cause someone to mold, but you know, it's Gregory. It's still good. It's a GMK set. Can't complain. Uh-oh, looks like my router's trying to do something. The color at the bottom of this is still fluctuating. First one and then do a proper one later. Man. I'm just hoping I don't have to change too many keycaps. Greg pisses off newbies or super serious enthusiasts. I think it probably confuses newbies, and I think enthusiasts, super serious people probably just don't care anymore. It's like everyone in the middle that feels like they have to have a strong opinion about keyboards. Yeah. Paid $180 for that. Exactly. Uh-oh, the little block in the bottom just went red. I don't know what's happening. Build the Tomo tomorrow. Something like that. That's the way it felt like for a while. Alright, so this is going to be gummy O-ring. Where's the keycaps that I put? Here they are. So box is CRP Xerox. I think this will do the trick. I think it has everything I need for this. If it doesn't, I guess we're going Greg. Good old CRP shipping in baggies. Gotta love it. Tomorrow for a while. Yeah. It was tomorrow for a bunch of days there. This is the right space bar. Caps lock. That's not the right caps lock. This is the caps lock that I wanted. Okay. It's not the right shift. That's not the right shift. That's a backspace. Waiting on this. I mean, it's like 2 a.m. now. Oh, man. Yeah, it is 2 a.m. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. Technically, I didn't start tomorrow. It's a good one. Put the shift on there. Alt, set up return. Just for the record, I do have, I forget what site this is, but it shows me the layout for CRP because honestly, I don't remember any of this stuff. I wish I could be one of these cool people that just knew the layout for Xerox and all these weird keycaps, but honestly, I don't. Think XHT BDZ would mix with GPL 105 at all. That's a negative for me, bro. I wouldn't do that. I think you would get it to mix, but I'm not sure why you would. I'm pretty sure that would just be chaos. F12, F5. What you tried to do, bro? Yeah, exactly. F8, F7, F9. An alt button, a small alt button, an insert button. What was the layout for Tomo anyways? I forget. I'll have to keep some of these. A fun button. I forgot about that. Which arrow is this? I think this is this arrow. We'll actually go on the outside. Oh. Get on there. What are you doing? Arrow and F13. Guess I could put F13 here, right? Pause. Up. Oh, almost dropped it down. Oh, macro. I forget. I think this was here. Jinjin Wong, rated with 86 viewers. What? Hi. Tomo. Yes, it's Tomo. Thank you for the raid. How are you? How was your stream? Yes, it is a Tomo build. Or someone put Tomo backwards. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Yeah. No more intimate chat? For some reason I wanted to read that as inmate. I'm like, no, that's not right. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. How was your stream tonight? Hopefully everything worked out well for you. Tomo or FOMO? Oh man, that reminds me of Tomo FOMO. Everyone was saying that during Teja's stream, I believe. Ringo Leone, thank you for the follow. Greetings everybody, I'm Javerb, I'm just your average keyboard dad, building a keyboard at like 2 o'clock Eastern, having fun. Thank you for the follow, Xinjin Wang. Is this the right profile? I think it is. Alright. What bag had my enter button? Shift. Cute. Yeah, just relax. I mean, pretty much I do this to relax after days of working. So, it is what it is. I am not the most high energy person, but hopefully you enjoy. Just come relax, chill, listen to music. I guess every now and then I have keyboard opinions or thoughts. None of it's really unique. But, you know, just have fun building Tomo. And eventually I'll get to probably a slow typing test because I'm not that fast at typing. V G R U. I'll put that on in a second. Alright, with these numbers, this always fakes me out. So this is 1, 2, 3, right? I think. We'll see. If I end up with the wrong amount of numbers on the number row, I know I've done something wrong then. Wait. Okay, I think I did something wrong. Okay, let's try that. BD 0 minus. So that would be here. I do have an image of the keycap set on the screen because otherwise I'd be totally lost. So do apologize as I look back and forth trying to figure out what keycap goes where. Okay. Yeah, so tonight I'm building my Tomo. After a long await time for me not building it and having time, I finally made time to build it. So today, these are what I'm calling, I guess, oil cherry pies. They have different names, but pretty much it's Gateron Oil King bottom, cherry top, and good old NK cream stem. So pretty familiar switch, or at least it feels pretty familiar. So just trying out new things, that's all. What button is this? Okay. Return. There's my return. No, T. How's it feel scratchy? Actually feels nice and smooth since basically you're using the oil bottom housing. It's very smooth. I liked the Gateron oils. I built them in my, I guess, Space 80, but it was one of the switches that I felt was a little bit on the boring side, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I decided to just use it as Franken switches for the remainder of the switches that I bought. Because originally I was just going to have a bunch of black cherry pies in here. To sort of, I guess, a more traditional idea for Tomo. But instead I decided to try something new. I'll tell you what was scratchy though, and sort of in a good way, bad way, sort of. I actually sort of enjoy a little bit of scratch in my keys, if I'm being honest with you. But I bought some of the Mango Click old vintage switches, and I actually did enjoy those. I did have to run them in a little bit with the break-in machine, but afterwards they felt nice. Just a little bit of audible scratch. It wasn't too bad going down on the downstroke, and you know, upstroke, everything's fine as long as you spring swap a little bit. At 4th. Where does this go? Here? Okay. Kaza, you don't like the scratch? Or you do like the scratch? You do like the scratch. I don't know. A lot of people, I guess, have something against scratch. I mean, I kind of like it. F. I'm not using that. B. That's a second B. I didn't know I had 2 B's. That's cool. 6. F with a dot, H. Put some long pull stem Unga Bunga stems, dual stage springs, my old MX red housings. Mild bit of cherry scratch, but they sound and feel fantastic. Honestly, I keep going back to cherry switches again and again and again. It's sort of familiar and I like them, so I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker for cherry switches. I did buy like a whole crap ton of those, so. I think Geon's gonna have a sale on cherry switches sometime in the future, maybe, so yeah. Okay. Keycaps go here. Wait, fun goes here? I could put fun here? Why not? I'll put fun there. Small Chungus! Very nice build again, I see. Yeah, this time I think it's a decent build. Alts. Guess I should put the spacebar on, eh? A little bit of thing in there. Probably have to add a little bit of XHTBDZ, you know, plug the butt a little bit. But it sounds okay for the moment. And this, I think, is all with the setup. Goes here. And what keycaps am I missing? I have a J, an F, I'm missing a U. K. And what is the last one I am missing? An I somewhere? Am I missing a keycap? No, I'm not. Just overturned. Okay. No reason to panic. I got it. And tab. Alright. I did it. I found out where all the keycaps go. Alright. Now let me put these back in the bag so I don't misplace them. Alright. Then I will switch up the positioning of my microphone and we'll do a quick typing test. Slow typing test, I'm not fast. Can I just put these all back in the same bag? I probably can. Alright, everything's going to one bag, pure chaos. Now, based on the earlier conversation, I am considering taking my first pictures of this board with GMK Gregory on it. It's probably a bad idea. I probably shouldn't do that. Okay. Do it? Oh, man. If I did that and Monike didn't approve, I would never be able to win on any of their raffles in the future, which would make me sad. Always support Greg? Yeah. I probably will. Let me move things around. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I should hear whatever's coming through this mic. I'm an old person, I use a wrist rest. Oh man, I need to get monkey types up. Of course, predictably I don't have monkey types up. Here. Okay. Pause the easygoing music. All right. I don't type fast. I'll type for 30 seconds and then I'll probably take my headphones off and do it again. So this is Tomo, built with basically black cherry pies, but with Gateron Oil King bottoms, cherry top, NK cream stem, spring swap. I think I put TX extra long in there. We have CRP Xerox on the top of it, and this is using the 58 O-ring that was included. So mouse clicks, keyboard level. And okay, guess let me take my headphones off and I'll spam mods real quick on this. Alloy plate, yeah. Need to put some more XHT on that probably. All right, let's do another typing test. Plug it back in. Okay. I'll be honest, I like the fact that the USB port is super low. The cable does fit better or feel better on the desk if it's nice and low. So I do like that. All right, let me try this again. Okay. Alloy plates are all sold out. Oh, it feels bad. So, yeah, I think this sounds interesting. I like it. Let me turn the music back on, and I will mount this as a top mount, because that's what I want to play around with next. Yeah, I'll be honest, since it was an unlimited buy, I think you can probably get most of the stuff for Tomo secondhand pretty painlessly, I hope. I hope. Alright. Let me take this apart and then do this in top mount. I'm not going to bother changing up the mic between. I slammed by before stream, too impatient. Yeah, trust. I mean, it's Monoke. These boards simply just, they're good. They're good boards. I'll be honest, with Monoke, I mean, I generally like their products. I think the thing that surprised me the most that I got from them recently was the Monoke Series 1. I'm actually planning on using that on my Vox Lab Ergo board, the Sandglass. It looks really good. It feels interesting, and honestly, I'm looking forward to using it. So we'll see. Let me hold this up so it doesn't slam down or do anything bad. So the daughter board was kind of short. The JST cable is kind of short. Okay. So I do think with the stiffer O-ring, this board would sound slightly different. And I do have several Graveshift O-rings off to my side. I'll probably end up trying those out at some point and then doing a typing test with like my favorite configuration. I don't think I'm gonna go crazy and do like the every combination sound test that I did for IU, but I might. Alright, top mount. Top mount time. Originally when I heard this board, I thought this sounded pretty good in O-ring, and then after hearing Mr. Lightning Diego's build of it, I think I probably will like this in top mount even better. Okay. I'm just going to drop the screws everywhere. Some days I wish I would have bought just a bunch of magnetized hardware, figured out what common sizes people are using in keyboards nowadays, and just traded everything out for magnetized hardware. I do that. Small chunk is Chad move. CBA with non-magnetic screws. Yeah. Just a bunch of magnetized screws. Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to get like the right pitch and thread, and well, I guess that's not really the thing, but the right size and then shape for whatever the design that's being used. Remove that. And you have to slot this together. Is this long enough? Yeah, this is just long enough to do it this way. Feed it in. Make sure it's in the groove. Okay. And then put it down. Same thing, cross pattern. Just doing these until they're finger tight. Then I'll go back and voice is slightly low compared to music just by no, I moved the mic position. Now the mic is literally like right down here because it's mostly just for capturing the keyboard sound. I'm just too slow and lazy to move it between everything. Oh, I know. I'm gonna put this in my Suave Blue Caban too. There'll be a matching set. I'll bring it to work. It just won't have TGR on the outside. Should have bought the Caban TGR bag. Oh well. Okay. I'm not used to that positioning. Alright. What makes IU the favorite TKL? Honestly, the purple color, and then just the fact that it's IU. I'll bring it out in a second. Let me do another bit of typing here. All right. Restart this. This is top mount now. Let's listen to top mount. Ooh. So let's listen to the mods real quick. Get in the hole. Okay, there we go. All right, let me do another typing test, this time with this off. Not a big fan of the space bar. It does sound different, but let me hear. So mouse clicks again. I actually like the sound of this top mount a lot better. So definitely need to add some more XHT on this side. I think it sounds okay. It's a little bit aggressive. It's definitely stands out compared to the alphas. I might actually want to switch this to a not one pole switch in the future. We'll see. But yeah, I definitely like top mount better. All right, let me pull out IU just as shoot. Oh, oh. Yeah, IU should be finishing up production soon, I want to say. But yeah. IU's a good board. Kill Combat, thank you for the follow. Let me turn the music back on before it gets too boring and everyone leaves and falls asleep. But yeah, this is an IU V2 prototype from Perryworks. Like the details on it are just really nice looking. And the purple, it's just like the right shade of purple that I just really like. IU, yeah. And currently I have this configured with, I think, 58 O-ring from Graveshift. I don't know. I like this with the 58 O-ring. I also liked it with the X ring. I guess that's more a Kaze ring, but you know, that was pretty good too. I also like this top mount, but I think I liked it best with the Graveshift 58 O-ring because it was slightly bigger than the original that came with it. So yeah, it was just interesting. Did a coffee table book about IU? Oh, that'd be nice. All right. But I think that's about it for me for tonight, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I need to get to bed. It's like 2:30. I still have to clean up. Oh man. Where's the hole? Alright. Okay. Does anyone have any suggestions for someone to raid? To pass off this to? Ten's Final Mouse? Yeah, looks pretty good. I don't really game anymore, but yeah. I always like Final Mouse. Undecided on Tomo. I'll be honest, I think with a different spacebar switch, this would actually sound pretty good. And I think with the alphas and a slightly less aggressive spacebar, that will be my configuration in top mount. I would probably actually put an old vintage Cherry MX Black that's nice and smooth in there. As a John, thanks for the follow. Alright, does anyone have any streamers, any keyboard people that are online tonight that I should go see? Oh man, I haven't done this whole streaming thing in a while. Epsilon Keyboards, very chill dude from New Zealand. Alright. Let's do it. Not getting any other suggestions. So I want to thank everyone for stopping by. Actually, what's the raid command? Is it slash raid or what? I can't even remember. Exclamation raid. I don't remember how any of these commands work. Nope. Man, I just don't like stream for 2 weeks and I can't remember anything anymore. Okay, the raid's been created. Alright, thanks everyone for stopping by. This has been my Tomo build. I'll try to get a sound recording of it up sometime soon. Hopefully you guys can catch me next time. thank you again for all stopping by and the support. Let's go see Epsilon Keyboard, and everyone have a good night. Stay safe out there. Bye.
Oh, J-Verb, hello? J-Verb? Hello? Kia ora? Small Chungus? I only saw Beast Wars? Chaos Blazer Kaze. Blazer? Bladder? Blade? Leader? How's it going? Thank you for the raid. Bladder? The Chaos Bladder. I understand Chaos Bladder because sometimes, you know, I can't hold it either. Daystream keep content? Do they? J-Verb? What were you doing, buddy? Are you a keyboard streamer? Because I'm actually very sorry. I actually have never seen this name before. J-Verb. This thing's so long. We're building this platelist, right, people? Built my Tomo tonight, was a fun time. Ooh. My last 2 builds on stream were a Tomo. How did you build it? Oh yeah, this is the for aligning everything, right? No, this is not a plate, this is a PCB. So, oh, okay, so these 2 PCBs, okay. I thought I was like, I'm pretty sure this doesn't come with a plate. Why is there a plate here? I'm pretty sure I can only build it plateless. I don't have, it doesn't, I haven't seen a plate yet. Let's put this over there. Default playlist. I panicked for a second thinking I didn't say. Yeah, I mean, I think it's I thought it can only be playlist, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, this thing's chunky. This thing's heavy. Ooh, red? Is it red? Heavy boy? And Gibby's Fate, how have you not seen the Transformers movie? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Breaking. Wrist breaking. Oh, this color. Ooh. This color is very nice. Very nice. Just for a look. It's, nice. Let's I might put this to the side for now. Let's do the stabs on. I mean, I only watched a few of the cartoons growing up, like the ones with the keys. Yeah. The keys? You mean the cassette tapes? Keys? I kind of grew up with Transformers Cybertron. Nah, the keys? What keys?